So we're back with another session of the Sisters in Therapy podcast. And so we're talking about the importance of a routine as it relates to your mental health because everything relates to your mental health. I'm
Period.
going to throw it to Dr. B and she's going to start us off with some definitions.
Yes. So true to our nature, first, the objective of this session today is for us to educate y'all on the importance of routine and structure. So the first definition is routine. It is a sequence of events regularly followed, a fixed program. Structure or a structured life is keeping a schedule or a routine. This includes making time for yourself and activities that bring you joy.
Okay. So
is-
essentially, it sounds like you're saying routine and structure go together.
Yeah, I think they were interchangeable, but I wanted to see what y'all's perspective was on that because when I was doing a little bit of research preparing for this episode, it seemed interchangeable. I don't think one exists without the other. I just don't know which one comes first, if that makes sense.
That's an interesting sequence to think about.
It is interesting.
I think it's almost like vulnerability and
Or
intimacy.
maybe the
Can't have one
routine
without
gives
the
you the
other one.
structure.
Possibly. Or the
Yeah.
structure give you the routine. Okay, I'm done.
Interchangeable.
Okay.
Okay. So
The process.
I wanted to talk about this in particular because that's usually one of the main topics that I have with my clients.
Rightfully
Having
so.
some consistent routine or some sense of structure because that, for me at least, it helps you practice some sense of autonomy, especially when like work is stressful, other parts of your life are stressful. And to me, if you have some type of outlet, a part of your routine, it helps alleviate some of those aspects like
For
depression,
sure.
anxiety, things like that. So what's y'all's perspectives on like helping clients work through building a routine or just some signs that people might be lacking a sense of a routine or structure, if that makes sense?
I think first just assessing their perspectives and their personality because the definitions say a fixed program and some people don't like anything too
Right, that's why I put air
Right.
quotes.
some people don't like things too strict and
Correct.
sometimes people like to just ease into it. Either way it go, whether you're easing into something or whether you need something that's super structured, both of these things are important. I think that the routine help you kind of build a foundation, a proactive foundation of managing stress, if nothing else.
Absolutely.
So not that it fixes anything, but if I already don't have any foundation of stress management and life starts lifing, it's just gonna be too much. I'm gonna be too overwhelmed.
Right.
And so if I do have a routine, it's not that it's not gonna be too much, it's that it's not gonna knock me down as quick because I got a foundation of how I manage stress so I can think clearly on how I want to navigate this new stress in my life. That's the
Absolutely.
one of the reasons why the routine is important.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
What about you, T?
No, what you just said made me think about something that we said before about really getting to the core of our basic needs.
Yeah.
And how are we being intentional with those? Our eating, our sleeping, our moving our body, our social interactions. It comes down to that. It sounds like it's making time to intentionally try to check in on each part
Yes.
of your life so that, like you said, if things go awry, you kind of already have a solid foundation. It's not going
Yes.
to completely throw you off.
Right, exactly. And so I think too with like helping clients for me because everybody wants to have coping skills, right? People
Yes.
want like a tangible
They do.
results oriented practice, right?
Yes.
And for me, routine is one of the air quotes easiest ways to start practicing that because it promotes healthy habits,
Yes.
right? You gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, and when you say that, sometimes people look at you like you are a quack or something because they're like, it can't be that simple.
It can
But it can.
actually.
And this is a basic tenet of managing your mental health anyway. And so, but people are looking for something more, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is it right
Yeah.
here. Like I think they're looking for us to tell them something different.
Yeah, I don't think they believe, like you said, I don't think they believe it could be that simple.
Yes, but one because they don't have the clarity in their brain because they're just overwhelmed already.
Right.
Which that gets in the way of people wanting to even have a routine because I'm just too tired to focus on trying to have a routine. I'm just gonna cruise control through life right now.
Right.
That's part of it too, is that willingness to do the work. Because whenever it comes to routine, and it's not just I can just do one thing here, I can just do one thing there. They don't want that. Routine is something that's going to take constant and consistent effort.
Yes.
Right. And truly, like routine and structure, yes, it's associated with some sense of a schedule, but like a habit can be a routine. Drinking water could be a routine if you're consistent with something. You know, when people don't have any consistency, they do feel
Imbalance.
imbalanced. So it certainly does help promote healthy habits. So like for the clients that you all see, how do you help clients develop some sense of structure, routine based off of, what they've shared in the session?
I think the first thing I do in therapy most of the time is I'm a wellness wheel people to death.
Me too. Oh my
Okay.
God, that is so crazy. That's the
So,
first worksheet I seen.
That's one of my favorite worksheets because it really gives people a visual of their dimensions of wellness.
Absolutely.
And once you get the coloring in and rating yourself with how much you're giving each piece of your wellness, you get to see this visual of whether or not you have balance. Because if you're giving too much to career and not enough to mental, that's an imbalance right there. And a lot of times people do feel like they have to go 125% at the career part. So therefore I need to sacrifice my sleep or my son's soccer game or something. I'm like, okay, we got to take a step back and really restructure this.
Right.
Because this ain't working for
Right.
your mental health because your routine is not balanced.
Exactly. Yeah. What about you, T?
It's really just kind of seeing where they're at and what they feel like their current needs are. Because again, I think when it comes to routine, a lot of my folks do have anxiety. And so also trying to adhere to a very strict regimented routine causes them even more anxiety because they're like, what's going to happen if I don't get this done? And so, like you said, a habit can be a part of the routine. So I'll usually start off with how do you build one habit? Because also it can be hard to try to do all of these things and make all these changes at one time.
Absolutely.
So we kind of just start with one habit. Like, what's one thing that you could do this week? And when are you going to be more likely to do it? Is it going to be in the morning? Is it going to be in the evening? How do you set yourself up for success to do this? Do you need to put something out? Do you need to plan for it? Right. So I get very specific in trying to plan and set them up for just changing one thing.
Specifics.
Yeah. Do you
Smart.
have you all had any experience with people pushing back on the importance of routine or structure?
Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Because people keep saying like, well, people don't really think that it'll help them. And I just be like, and my favorite thing to tell them, well, if this was a doctor's office, this would be the prescription.
Right.
That's my favorite thing to tell people. This is the prescription. We are not giving you a pill bottle for you to
Right.
take to make yourself feel better. We give you tools
Right.
to help you make yourself feel better. And routine is a part of that tool. And I'm not even thinking that people should be so strict on a routine
Right.
that they can't enjoy what it is that they're doing.
Exactly.
I'm just saying this is a part of self-care.
Exactly.
This is a part of self-care.
I
Right.
don't necessarily look at it as pushback. Usually whenever they're not wanting to have the routine, I usually look at it as, okay, maybe this isn't the thing that you want to start working on, or
That's a good
this
point.
isn't the area, that we need to focus on, or the area that it needs to be. Maybe we started off with journaling. Maybe journaling doesn't work for you. Maybe we need to do voice notes or videos, or maybe you need to do it on your walk. And also I usually always try to tag it or pair it with something that they already do.
And when I say pushback, these are things that they have said for themselves that they want to do. Because I always start off with them coming up with what they want to do.
Correct.
Not me.
Correct.
What you want to do. So when you come back and then you didn't do what you want to do, I got to have a real conversation with you because now you're wasting your time.
Right, exactly. And even in the definition of like a fixed program, I even put it in air quotes here, is like, I don't think there's a routine without flexibility, right? Like
Right.
you have to have some type of buffer, because that anxiety will tell you, well, if you don't do it this exact way every single
Right.
time, then that leads to a false sense of security.
Or some type of sense of failure that I need to throw the
Right.
whole plan away.
Yes, so we have
Exactly.
that's what I find
All
all
or
the time when
nothing
it-
thinking.
all or nothing
Yes.
thinking every single time
That is
it
a
comes
thought
to
trap.
a routine.
Yes,
That is a
it
thought trap.
Definitely a thinking trap. So, how important is routine to us, right? Like, we all live different lives, right? We all have different ways to live. How would you all say, like, routine or structure is important for you?
Our lives are not that different.
A little bit, but they're not. We're all therapists who went to school at the same time. Like,
My routine is horrible right now. It just is what it
honestly,
is.
same.
But
I'm serious.
okay, the routine is not horrible. I don't have balance because I'm sticking to like the workouts and the eating, but the sleep may be off or something. So just got a little bit of imbalance. So I have told myself that this weekend I'm gonna get my shit together. But it's off. I feel that it's off because let's see. Maybe I was a little bit anxious throughout the week, so I'm like, my routine is off. So that's a perfect example for me to just take inventory. When I'm feeling anxious, what is off on my wellness wheel? I'm giving too much to some part of my life.
Yeah.
And it's usually the work, like entrepreneurship. Typically.
Hello, we were literally just talking about the few minutes before we started recording. Like,
Typically.
I don't know, I'm falling off, and I could tell. Like, I've gotten obsessed with Lego, And that has been the priority
Yeah,
of
that
putting
may be
together some
complex
Legos.
skill.
fun.
It is so much fun.
I have gotten obsessed with being a commentator for basketball.
Yes. And so like now that is a part of the routine. I think maybe that's it, right? Still practicing some sense of like a balanced discipline.
Yeah.
Really, because I have definitely fallen off, and I do appreciate. I am definitely start my day early in the morning,
Me too.
and I think that keeps me in line. But then I get confused because I'm like, well, I'm resting, but I'm not doing what I want to do. So I guess it's just a matter of like really finding like what does work for you while also
Yes.
allowing grace if you need to rest. That's the thing for me.
That is the thing, because if I do, so I need to start my day early in the morning as well. But if I do start my day at 10, I can't say my whole day is thrown off.
It feels like the day is almost over.
Not for me. I'm not a great morning person. But that's the thing whenever it comes to me and my routine and my schedule, what works for me is really constant flexibility because
That is what works for you.
fair.
because life is ever changing and I know my needs are ever changing. So I'm just super flexible whenever it comes to, okay, like what do I need today? But I also am a person who I'm very introspective and I check in with myself all the time. So being flexible with my routine works for me
Yeah.
because I'm always going to say, what do I need this week? What do I need right now? And tend to my needs. And so for the most part, it stays pretty balanced, even though it's not a very structured routine.
Okay. Now, if I can ask, you have a pup, right? And that was
my baby.
right. You had a
Oh,
little fur baby. How was that? Because you really are like a night owl, right? So like, how did you adjust to like now you got to get up earlier?
I got a puppy
She got
and
a
my
puppy.
whole life changed.
Completely.
My
has
whole
not been the
life
same.
has changed.
Since you came in, I knew
She
that.
paid for a child.
Yes, I did. I signed up for this change. I did not know it was gonna require this much change.
Yeah.
I'm actually just now coming into a transitional moment to where I feel like she and I are getting settled down to each other. I just journaled about it the other day.
Love that
That's
for you.
so good. That's so good. You're such a therapist.
She says she introspective, y'all.
Always. So it's changed my life a lot. So I'm not a night out really anymore. Now I'm up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Who are you?
But
Right.
who else? Never have I ever.
Put a finger
Never.
down. It's not you.
Because why? I don't get it. But now I'm up and I'm with her and she's wide awake, tail wagging, ready to go.
Okay.
And so it just looks so much different now. We have our time together, but also it's a different, beautiful start to the day. It's
Okay.
I traded in my sleep, but it's just
It's a new part of your
it's
routine.
just different.
Right.
It's very, and I like it because then I'm able to pair what I've been doing lately is pairing some of my other habits
Yeah.
that I've been wanting to do with getting up with her.
Okay.
Because these are things that I would have done probably in the middle of the night because I get going about between 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And I used to get in my bag. Now I'm like, my alarm to go to sleep is at 10:30 and I'm in bed by 10. It's really changed. So so now I'm able to do my gratitude, my devotionals, things like that in the morning after I get her get fed because I have so much time in the morning.
Okay. So
Gotcha.
you just mentioned some routine type daily activities, devotional. I think you said gratitude.
Journaling,
Okay. Speak a little bit about like the devotional and the gratitude. Like, what does that consist of for you?
For me, I actually got this notebook that says it's a 365 daily devotional for women, and
Okay.
so it has a Bible verse and then it has a little storyline on it, and then it has a prayer at the end.
Okay.
Sometimes I just sit with that and read it. Other times I always have my journal with my devotional notebook, and so sometimes I'll go and journal about what this means for me right now and where I'm at in life, and just how I can use it and grow on it.
Okay.
I love that. And that's actually a really good segue because my next question was, are there particular routines or structures that are calming or grounding? And I know that's subjective, but are there particular, for at least your clients, right? Do you find yourself recommending particular ways to build routine, things like that?
My biggest thing with my clients is trying to help people build these daily activities without breaking the bank, because my clients love to be brunching and mimosaing and hookah and spending all their money out at these restaurants. So I'm like, and the reason why I am saying these things to them about money is because they're telling me they're having money problems, but then
Right.
they're telling me they're self-care. And I'm like, baby, this is a conflict of interest.
Let's really bad.
This is a conflict of interest. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, this is a conflict of interest. So they're like, what am I supposed to do then? I'm like, come on. Walk with me. So we about to sit down. So we gonna do some coloring because that's low cost self care. Puzzles, bubble baths, and even audiobooks. Those are just some things that I think as adults we don't think about. Coloring a book and taking a bubble bath and lighting a candle.
Right.
Very therapeutic.
Exactly.
Very
Yes.
therapeutic. And so I've kind of gotten to the habit where now with my new clients, and if you my old client, if you watching this, don't be mad at me. But when my new clients come in, now we kind of start with coloring a picture.
Love that.
Because people are rushing in from work,
Yes.
and I'm trying to like help them kind of debrief before we start our therapy session. So we might color a picture. I've gotten to the point today where I'm playing a little bit of Maxwell. Got the lights down, and so they like, girl, I'm about to fall asleep. I'm like, don't do that.
Right.
But that's what I do. Talk
I
to them
love
about
that.
coloring a picture, doing a puzzle, even doing their favorite childhood activity. That's one of my
Yeah.
biggest one too. And what's another one? I think cooking. Trying new recipes and things like that, which can get expensive. So but there's so many things on Google and TikTok that kind of help people do things within a budget.
Right, for sure. I love
all of
that. It
that.
seems like it's I kind of give I do give the same suggestions or recommendations, but it's always in the spirit of slowing down.
Yes.
A lot of the main
Yes.
complaint is
Yes.
Houston traffic. It takes me 45. I'm like, well, let's reframe. When's the
Yes.
last time you've been able to move slow? Just take advantage. Listen to whatever album you want to listen to. Just drive slow. Just flow with the traffic.
And it's hard because research has proven that traffic is a big stressor.
It
And,
is.
And in Houston, we would spend half of our life in traffic. Not
sure.
me anymore because I don't drive that much. But people would spend half their life in traffic.
They will. But you can't do nothing about it at this
Facts.
point, right? So, like, how can you begin to, you got to practice it somewhere.
Podcasts
I've
could
had
be
to do that
helpful.
with people too
Yes.
whenever it comes to traffic.
No,
Yeah.
that's a good point. You can do some things in the car. Podcasts and listen
always
to a podcast and audiobook.
Touch some grass, go outside, go to the park. I just told a client the other day, go to a coffee shop. I'm not saying you got to buy what's there, but, switch up your environment a little bit. And she loved it.
My clients have actually been doing their homework. So another thing that I actually tell clients to do that I did not mention is to go to a run club. ZFT, I always tell people about ZFT. And so I think Wednesday was
Wednesday night.
Global Run Day or something. And so like 5 of my clients told me this week, I went to that run club thing you was telling me about. I'm like, look at y'all.
I love
Shout
it.
out to ZFT.
Yes.
But they said they loved it and they felt like it was very inclusive. So they actually did their homework. And we've been talking about them going to this run club for months.
Oh, good.
But they finally did it,
Love
and they
it.
were happy. They don't know each other. My clients don't, but they always out there.
Yeah.
But they said they enjoyed it.
I love it. Oh, what about you, T? Any particular routines that...
I think it's less of a particular routine and more about a time of day because I hear a lot of people rushing to work or like no matter what time they get up, it's I get up, I get ready, and I go do this thing.
Yeah.
Usually for somebody else or for work. So the main thing that I usually try to start with is how can you start the day off giving something to yourself?
Boom.
And
Yes.
so I don't really care what you put into that routine. What's going to feel like you woke up for you today. Not just to make
Absolutely.
money, not just to contribute to a company or somebody else. How do you wake up for you?
You
Absolutely.
know it's hard
And
for people?
It
I
is.
know,
It
but it's
really
such a game
is.
changer.
It really
It's so
is.
hard
And I'm
for
so
people.
glad you said that because I have recommended, like, I know, like, working from home, it is easy to wake up 10 minutes before, but, like, once you start your day, you're subjected to whatever that day is ready to offer you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, like, could you please consider getting up maybe 30 minutes earlier? And a part of getting up earlier means you got to get rest, right? Like you got to go to bed at a decent time. And some of my clients have practiced like waking up a little bit earlier, and it has been a game changer for them. Even just drinking coffee or like making yourself breakfast,
Literally,
something
it could
to
be
slow
15
down.
minutes.
Yeah.
But you feel like it's for. Remember when we was kids and you used to get up in the morning or on the weekend and you might watch cartoons or eat your cereal like before that you would. We weren't really. I wasn't getting on my clothes and immediately going to school because my mama had 4 kids, so it took a little bit of time for all of us.
You
to
said
get
something
around.
about the weekend? You must have had no black grandma because, baby, you can't sleep in. You got to get
Not
up
the
and
weekend.
start
This is
cleaning
true
up.
on the weekend, but during the week, we could chill
Right.
No,
while
yeah.
everybody else was getting ready, and I was like,
That's a good
that
point.
was so nice.
That's a good point. Yeah, we used to get up early enough to like eat breakfast. You're right.
cartoons on because mama's still running around one
Yeah.
or other
But
kids
then
or doing
maybe
something
their
else.
parents didn't do that. And so they could go back to their childhood. Sometimes
For
parents
sure.
are always in a rush, too.
I was about to say, but the parents, it wasn't for my mom because I'm sure she didn't get up and start the day for herself. She didn't get up early. She got up and she went right to work too
Right. But she
with
knew,
us and then work.
But her routine was like, if I get them up earlier, get them settled,
Girl, no, because by the time she got done with all of us, she was going. So I'm saying she wasn't tending to herself. Now, I have worked with moms now who say before I start the work of mothering or before I go to work, I will get up 30 minutes before all of the kids and have my coffee or sit outside or.
Good for her. But it's something as simple as that. Having some tea and sitting outside. I am a therapist who actually don't like people working from home. it's I see it impeding on my clients' mental health all the time.
It's
not working for them. I love the idea of it.
I think
I've seen both.
I've definitely
child.
seen both. I've seen people who just simply prefer it, but I do think it has become a barrier to people wanting to leave the house.
It has become a barrier to people separating work from home.
Yeah.
They rolling out of the bed, just rolling from the computer. I'm like, this is not working for you, sis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Poor
I'd say
boundaries.
That's a part of the routine too, because they were talking about that even during COVID. People were saying like, even when we leave the office, I used to take off my lanyard.
Oh,
and
girl,
put
that was
it-
so nostalgic right now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
put and it's just
Yes.
it
That
means
signals
the day
to your
is
mind
over.
already the day is over. So
Yeah.
what is your transition moment?
Right.
That is what I've been doing with my clients, finding a transition activity.
Yes.
How do you debrief? So for some
Yes.
people, it's taking their boots off, taking a bubble bath. And I was not a big fan of like telling my clients about bubble baths because I love it, but I try not to push my things on them. But one of my male clients was like, I love bubble baths. And he kept talking about, so I'm going to start telling all my guy clients
Yes.
to take a bubble bath
Yes.
and light a
Yes, he
candle
should.
and sit in there and chill.
And chill, yes. And you know what's another good one? I recommended those shower steamers. Have y'all used those before? They're different scents.
Okay, yeah.
But a client of mine had used it. She was like, that has changed my showering experience. Like,
Okay, now I got to
because she
get
wasn't a
that.
big fan of bubble baths. So I'm like, maybe try shower steamers. She was like, I take my time in the shower. So
All right,
it's
try that.
literally practicing it where you can.
Yes.
And that's the point of routine, having some sense of a routine and structure. And the term that I like to use oftentimes is like, at some point we do have to have like our non-negotiables, right? Like
Yes.
if it's something that is working, continue to do it.
Right.
Right. And like if moving your body, going for a walk, if that's like your non-negotiable, like I know what it feels like once I'm done, make that your non-negotiable. And consistent doesn't mean you do it every single day, but at least you do it.
A couple times a week.
Exactly.
A couple times a week.
Exactly.
And having structure and routine helps you know what you need when you don't have what you need, if that makes sense. So when people are going through something and folks are asking, what do you need? You're going to have to look at your routine and see, okay, what is it that I need? Because whenever I do this, I feel this way. 9 times out of 10, the routine is going to give you your answers to help you feel better. It's a part of the coping tools. It's in that tool bag.
Exactly. And with the flexibility, you have to, I think with giving yourself flexibility, you get to see what's not working anymore. If you tried one thing, then maybe try
Yes.
something else. And that's often the challenge for a lot of people. They want things to work the first time.
Well, we're so
Not just
plugged into
that,
a
we want it
matrix.
to work all the time.
All the
This
time
is
is a
true.
good
We
point.
think it's not going to change, and I feel like that
This is true.
again makes us go into all or nothing of like, well, why try, or I need to do it every time, or it's not working. It is working. You did it great for this time.
Exactly.
Your life has changed now. Your mama called you about this, and that. You also have this new responsibility at work.
Right.
Let's talk about how it's going to change again. One of my clients was like, you told me this would keep happening, and then I would have to get up. Yes, because life don't stop. You gotta be able to pivot.
Absolutely.
This is true. We keep saying all or nothing thinking, so I want to kind of give a definition.
Go for it. Go
course.
for it.
But it is a common cognitive distortion that can lead to unhelpful behaviors and feelings of confusion or disappointment. So all or nothing thinking is also known as black or white thinking. It's we're being super extreme one way or the other. I know a lot of you can relate because I can relate. I have
What's
to
an example?
unlearn it.
On the Thinking Traps worksheet, it says, what was the example it gave? I ate a piece of cake and now my diet is completely over.
Yes.
Well, you ate, it don't have to be if you don't want it to be, right? Just I decided to eat the slice of cake. I'm gonna hop back on it tomorrow.
Yes.
Right? So like again, the flexibility. That's all or nothing or black or white.
Yes. Also believing that if you go outside during flu season, you will get the flu. That's all or nothing thinking as well.
That's also catastrophizing.
But that's what it says here as an example.
Yes. So how do we encourage the listeners to maybe stay motivated? Like what could be a good encouragement to stay motivated to either sticking to a routine or at least trying to build some sense of a routine or a structure?
I would say first, maybe monitor how the routine is helping you. That's what I would say. That's a big one for me, even like logging your thoughts and stuff. nothing that we kind of suggest to clients is going to be without work.
Correct.
And I think that's the hard part when people come to therapy and thinking that what we do is just talk and not like we're providing you with skills and tools to actually change your life. And so I think that if you take the time to actually monitor, so for example, if I'm at the gym, I see everybody with their notebooks monitoring how these workouts is helping them. Do the same thing with your routine.
Yeah.
Because people keep a diary of their food and their workouts. I see it all the time in the gym. They
Yeah.
literally write down, I'm doing this on leg day. So on Monday, write down, I went for a walk before work. How did it make me feel? How did it notice throughout your day how it helped you manage your mood? And maybe on Tuesday I don't take a walk. And then I'm gonna see, okay, what was the difference in compared to days? Those are like your own little experiments with your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It could be a thing.
No, absolutely.
Everything really is research.
It's all on Google, literally. So you got any recommendations for our listeners?
I think that's probably what I would say is just introspection and reinforcing for yourself what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
If you're not acknowledging the progress, if you're not acknowledging that this is working for you or making you feel good, you might keep doing it, but it's not going to be an intentional practice.
Okay.
It's not going to be something that you easily come back to whenever you are in a crisis moment, because you haven't really acknowledged that this plays a major role in your life. So it might be difficult to touch back to.
Yeah. I think culturally for us as Black people, something that is routine for us is looking good, such as getting our hair done, and for some of y'all getting your nails done. And people are starting to speak to how, like, you know how people say, oh, can't wait to get my hair done, the depression gonna leave my body. That is actually a true statement, I think, because when I got my hair done, I was like,
life is so much better.
my skin started looking better. So for us, we know sometimes as Black people, we need to get our hair done. We need to go get our
glad you
nails or
brought up that
toes
point.
done, because that's what we need
that's a really
sometimes to
good
help
point.
us feel good.
But that's mindfulness too, because
Yes.
you're being mindful in knowing and calling it out and saying, I'm going to feel so much better when I get my hair done.
Absolutely.
I feel good when I get my nails done. Oh, look at me. We say that with those things. How can we
Yes.
do the same thing
Right.
with these
Right.
other practices? It's really just mindfulness and acknowledging, damn, I feel good after that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And sometimes
What-
it's non-negotiable.
Sometimes it is. So what are some things you guys have maybe tried this year, as a part of your routine, or just a new activity,
New?
or just something you haven't done in a while? So for you, it would be the Legos.
Yeah, that's been my new thing. Now, it is an expensive hobby, so I've gotten some cheap.
This is an expensive hobby.
Yeah, podcasting. Yes. I don't know. I've been really trying to do things that, like I told y'all, my word for this year is abundance. And I really want to have an abundance of experiences. And doing things that are nostalgic, or even just like trying something new, has been a part of my routine. It just feels more freeing.
Yeah.
That way. Like, I don't feel held down by anything, but I do think I gotta get a little bit more discipline in like getting back to waking up a little bit earlier to start my day. I find that when I am consistent in some regard, not that my weeks have not been good, but like my attentiveness to things is much better. I'm resting a little bit better, and that's a part of me not resting well is what's causing me to not wake up early enough to start my day.
Gotcha.
But I would say Legos have been like the newest thing that I've added to my routine. But once you complete the project, it's done.
What about you, T?
Which is
yeah.
a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
Which they say is another benefit of having a routine, is that it really boosts our self-esteem and our confidence
Yes.
because we're checking things off our list.
Yes.
And as
Right.
humans, that's something that's just fulfilling.
Make you feel
Absolutely.
purposeful.
Yes. Yes.
What about you?
For me, I would have to say the biggest change would be honey.
Honey?
My
Honey
puppy.
May?
Yes, Honey May. What, we go on our daily walks or we go to our dog park. Sometimes, the walks were a little stressful at first. Learning.
Honey.
But seeing her at the dog park and also just kind of making that time during my day, and I'm like, there's literally nothing else I can be doing right now or that I need to be doing right now. This is something that has to be done. It just requires me to be present and in the moment with her. So
Okay.
it's been enjoyable.
Yeah.
So honey has added what to your life?
Oh my gosh.
She's obsessed,
Joe,
guys.
I am.
She's obsessed, but she's adorable, and that's easy to be obsessed.
I
'cause
never
she's
thought
adorable.
we'd be here.
Me
But
either.
here we are.
But here we are.
Got a whole niece.
Yeah.
She's-
Love
and
fur
she's a
babies.
puppy.
It's expensive. She went to daycare today.
Aw.
She was playing in the water. Anyways.
See, obsessed.
But no, she's added a lot of joy, but she's also, as much joy as she has added to my life, she probably has also added just as much structure and routine to
good.
my life.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a
good.
choice.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes sports structure and routine can be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got something?
I don't think so. I don't think I've done anything new. I started going to like the basketball court again
Nice.
recently. It's hot outside, but I liked it. It felt very freeing to be out there. I always feel like I'm connected with my little self when I'm got a basketball in my hand.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Love that. Doing something nostalgic is that could be a part of your routine too.
Yeah. At least it don't have to be like all the time, but I told
Right.
myself maybe I'll go once every 2 weeks or something.
Love that. You need to invite me so I can learn how to play basketball because I
I
don't.
mean, I'm not
Saw
a
that?
hooper.
You know the fundamentals.
Oh,
I ain't
yeah,
got
throw shit
handles.
out there.
We got a rematch. 21.
Girl, I'm not playing.
You
I know
beat
how to
me-
play horse.
You beat me last time.
We
I'm
can
about
play
to
horse.
beat
Can we
you
play
now.
horse?
Sure.
Okay.
We can play horse.
Me and you 21.
Girl.
On that note.
No, hold on.
Don't be doing
Oh, my
all that.
bad.
What do you guys think are barriers to people having routine and structure?
Thank
Beautiful
you.
question.
Yeah, I had that question. I didn't even ask it. Barriers.
Capitalism. I'll say it.
I'll say
Well,
it.
yeah, that's a big. You know
Capitalism.
what? Yeah, that's a big one because that perpetuates survival mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's gonna always be a thing, and that's why we're here to try to help clients take their power back with what they can, and that's gonna come back to some stuff that we've already talked about
Yes.
on this podcast.
Yeah.
Having boundaries at work.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Having boundaries at work.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one. Certainly capitalism, which perpetuates survival mode,
Yes.
and people just genuinely don't think that they have the time
Or the
Yeah.
right.
or the right
rest.
to rest
And to leave the work at the work.
Yeah, which is hard to do. To your point about like if you work from home, it's hard to sort of like separate because you could easily take your laptop to your living room and you're still working.
Yes.
I will also say, like, as a part of capitalism, it's our own. Now we've been structured or conditioned to think that our worth is also tied to our productivity.
Grind
And so
culture.
whenever we think about rest or joy or pleasure, we don't see it as an essential part of our lives. We don't look at it as needed. And so that's one thing that I've had to reframe with my clients as well.
Absolutely.
Is whenever they talk about all of the things that they have to do in order to be okay or to be well, I tell them that as much as that's a need, your self-care is a need as well.
We don't
You
earn
have to
rest.
make exactly. You have to
Exactly.
make room for this.
We don't earn rest.
Look at this as your productivity. How
Exactly.
you rest.
Yes, I don't, and I think that's something that we have to use this language with our clients because even if they're in therapy and they're coming every week and they're they're coping, they got their routine. It's still some part of most of my clients where I'm happy to teach them to you don't have to earn the rest.
Correct.
You earn the work, the rest go. What I'm trying to say is take your ass a nap
Yes.
and go to sleep because why not? Because a lot of my clients really do come in and they're so like, I got to do this, I got to do that. I can't turn this phone off. I work 24/7. I'm like, girl, do you get paid 24/7?
And my main
But
question
it's
is
deserved.
it's
We think you don't
deserved.
deserve.
Exactly. And my main question is usually if you were to fall out today, they would have to replace you at this job.
It's sad how much we think we have to work for the basic things and
Capitalism.
say that we have to work to deserve these things that are literally basic human needs.
Yeah.
And it's so perpetuated.
It's ingrained.
and embedded that it's hard for people to take their power back. Because we're not telling you not to do your job. Because obviously, if you lose your job, that could definitely be detrimental.
course.
But have some boundaries because stress can lead to health complications.
Yes.
And the absence of stress management can lead to health complications, which means you
Yes.
can't go to work anyway. So technically, you have to
Exactly.
take care of yourself.
Right.
Which is the purpose of this episode, is to kind of talk about the importance of routine and structure as it relates to your emotional well-being.
Absolutely.
And if you took anything from this session, is to get out there and try things
Mm-hmm.
that can be of relaxing and leisure to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's about it, guys.
It is definitely it. So on that note,
Go love yourself.
go love yourself.
Go love yourself.